Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I always meet women who says that, listen, I really love your style, I really love your minimal approach to capsule wardrobes, but I just love shopping too much to be willing to give that up. What can I do? So these women really like to be more playful with their style rather than having this very timeless and minimal approach to fashion that I love so much. And then I also meet women who says that it's way too expensive supporting sustainable and ethical fashion brands, and that they often can't really find what they like anyway among the sustainable brands. So whether you like investing in long-term timeless classics, or if you like to be a bit more playful with your style, I really hope that this video will help you in one way or the other. Because there are, in fact, ways where you can both be a timeless minimalist, but you can also be someone who enjoys to shop and enjoys to be a lot more playful with your style and still be a sustainable consumer at the same time. So today's video is presented in collaboration with Cheftagger, that you might remember I have worked with previously as well. I worked with them in my spring-summer trend video for 2019. So basically, Cheftagger is a plugin that you can install into your web browser on your computer. You can also download it onto your phone. And then the cool thing is that you can save fashion and beauty items onto your Cheftagger account. So basically, you're creating a visual shopping list. So you sign up for free, you install the plugin, it's really easy, and then you're ready to start saving all of your favorite items into your desired folders. So this way you're not only creating a visual shopping list, but you'll also get notified whenever something is reduced in price or if something comes back in stock. So this is really helpful in terms of supporting the sustainable fashion brands, because again, you get notified if something gets reduced in price, so it gets a bit more affordable for you. But it's also shopping smart in a nutshell, because again, you create this visual shopping list that you can really stick to rather than running around purchasing all sorts of different things out of impulse. And you can also share these lists with your friends and family so that you make sure that if it's your birthday coming up or any other special occasion, that they stick to the list and they don't, purchase anything that you might not end up using anyway. Cheftagger is also really helpful in terms of sales in general. So we have Memorial Day, we have Bank Day, we have all of these different sales coming up during the spring season, and it can kind of help you again curating your wishes and notify you if something gets back in stock, because sometimes customers will buy something in several different sizes, then it gets sold out, but then sometimes they return something and then you would get notified if you were interested in that same item. So that's pretty cool as well. So some of my favorite retailers that are represented within the Cheftagger plugin is Everlane, Armed Angels, People Tree, Organic Basics. These are some of the brands that I really love and that I've supported for years now. And then there are these secondhand shops such as Westier Collective that I've also used several times over the year. There's the Real, and then there's ASOS Marketplace, which recently joined the list as well, which I think is pretty cool. Also a great secondhand site that I've used a lot myself over the years. So before actually digging into my 5 tips on how to shop sustainably, also on a budget, I thought I just wanted to refresh your memories. Let's have a little discussion about what sustainable fashion really means, because there's not one way to be a sustainable fashion consumer or consumer in general. We all have different starting points, we all have different kinds of wardrobes. There's not one way of doing this, okay? So sustainability in general is a rather complex subject, but I know that most consumers like convenience, and therefore I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. So eco-friendly fashion is often clothing made from natural fibers such as linen, hemp, bamboo, and lyocell. So cotton is actually not very sustainable because it requires a lot of water, and especially if it's not organic cotton, it requires a lot of fertilizers and a lot of chemicals. So these other types of fibers are a lot more sustainable than cotton. Then there's simply choosing items in higher quality and items that are meant to last. So, kind of moving your way around the passing trends and choosing items that won't die out nearly as quickly as items that are very trendy and kind of designed to die out very quickly. And then of course there's choosing clothing that is easy to maintain for you and whatever washing routine you might have, whatever life you're living, whatever activities you have in your life, choosing items that can kind of withstand all of that and last in the long run in an easy way for you is definitely a sustainable way of working around fashion as well. So if you want the easy way out, I'm going to link some of my favorite sustainable fashion brands down below for you to go have a look at. Definitely think about the fact that there are many ways to be sustainable, and going for something in higher quality because you want to love it for many years is definitely much better than buying something made in a cheap quality that you're gonna throw out next month. So just a few closing words on what it means to be a sustainable consumer and a sustainable fashion consumer in particular. I'm gonna quote Maya Angelou: "Do what you can until you know better, and when you know better, do better." It's important always to be kind and to be open-minded and accept the fact that we all have different starting points. Right, with all that out of the way, let's have a look at my top 5 tips on how to become a more sustainable fashion consumer, and also if you have a very tight budget. So my first tip is something I've already mentioned, but it is using the plugin Cheftagger. So I've already mentioned what the whole deal with Cheftagger is and why it is so smart, especially if you're shopping on a budget. It's a great way of supporting sustainable and ethical fashion brands and then get notified whenever something gets reduced in price, especially if you have a very tight budget. So make it a habit for yourself to keep up with this kind of visual shopping list and really to think before you buy something. If you want some more tips on how to create the perfect shopping list and also kind of what thought patterns I go through myself whenever I'm considering buying something, I will link an older video and a blog post for you down below. It might be super helpful for you. So my second tip is to go for secondhand or vintage alternatives. And you probably already knew that this was gonna come because I can't hide my love for secondhand fashion. So going for secondhand items or swapping with relatives, whatever you like, is a great way to save some money again if you have a very tight budget. And you can still do this while looking chic at the same time. Like, it's 2019, folks. Shopping secondhand is not as taboo as it might was like 10 or 20 years ago. It's something that everybody is doing. It's highly accepted, and you can in fact look very chic even though you go for the secondhand options every time you want to add something new to your wardrobe. So I do have a bunch of great secondhand websites that I absolutely love myself and that I've used over the years several times, as I also mentioned in the beginning. So Westier Collective is a site that I love both for high street finds and also for luxury finds. And then I really love ASOS Marketplace as well. And you can save items from both of these sites onto your Cheftagger account. So again, that's a great way of keeping up with that visual shopping list, because I feel like even though you go for something secondhand, and that should be a very eco-friendly way to go, I always believe that it's always important that you really consider your purchases before you buy, so that you won't end up with a huge closet anyway, whether that being secondhand or not, containing a lot of clothes that you don't even use. So it's always important that you really consider each and every purchase that you make. I do also love looking through local thrift shops, and if I stumble upon something that I've been searching for, I will buy it. But again, I always know what I'm looking for before I go in, whether that being a physical shop or on the secondhand web shops. I do also have a secondhand web shop myself, to those of you who don't know, and I ship to most of Europe. And the style that I evolve within is this very Scandi chic, classic kind of style with a twist of something edgy. So really something that represents my own true style is to be found on that shop. If you're new to the whole secondhand shopping game, I do again have an older guide on how to get started with secondhand shopping, just some things that you should be aware of and how I kind of work around the whole thing. And I'm gonna link that video down below as well. So every time I'm met by a woman who says that, you know what, I love your minimal approach, but I also love to be playful with fashion. I don't like to have such a huge part of my wardrobe just always being the same. I like these frequent replacements. My answer is always to go for secondhand options, because really that's the most sustainable way you can work around being a fashionista to the core that really likes to be a bit more playful with your style. So secondhand shopping might be the thing for you if that's the kind of consumer that you are. Again, also a great way to save some money. So let's continue to tip number 3, which is DIYs. So I love getting crafty, I love getting creative, whether that being with something I already have in my wardrobe that I haven't worn for some time, or if I find something in a secondhand shop that needs to be updated a bit, something that's a bit outdated. It's an amazing way to get exactly what you want, if you know how to do it, that is. There's plenty of tutorials on YouTube. I've even made a few tutorials myself over the years. I've DIY'd especially many of my secondhand purchases, such as old shirts that I've turned into cute tops. I've turned jeans into skirts, into shorts. I have hemmed several of my jeans and pants. I've even hemmed a leopard coat that I bought secondhand on Vestiaire Collective, so made it a bit shorter because it didn't feel comfortable for me being that long. I've also recently purchased this absolutely amazing leopard dress in a thrift store in London, and I absolutely love it. I'm thinking about taking out the shoulder pads for one, and then I'm gonna cut it so that I have a shirt that I can wear with all of my denim skirts and my jeans through the summer. And then I'm gonna turn the bottom part into a skirt so that I have a skirt I can wear with all of my plain t-shirts. Again, a cute item for my summer wardrobe. So getting crafty, again, no matter that being with items from a secondhand store or something you already have that you haven't been using for a while, is a great way to be a more mindful and sustainable consumer of fashion. In general, I'd like to get a bit more crafty and do a little less scrolling on my phone and, be a bit more creative and ground myself after a long day at work like that. Tip number 4 is something that I've mentioned many times throughout this video already, but it is the art of making a great shopping list. So like I mentioned before, I do have a video on how to make the perfect shopping list and also kind of the thought patterns that I go through personally whenever I buy something new to my wardrobe. And I'm gonna link everything for you to have a look at after this video down below. So I have this little capsule wardrobe planner where I every season will write my end of season thoughts. So if there's something among my seasonals that I haven't been using, so I can take that knowledge and use it for future purchases and kind of avoid mistakes. So it's gonna be the summer season really soon, and I'm about to start figuring out what I want my summer capsule to look like. And so I will look at my thoughts of the summer season last year and then again take that knowledge for any new purchases that I might want to make for this summer season. So I always make a list after that, and a list is so important again because it's an amazing support system, and it will help you avoid making any mistake buys out of impulse that you'll end up wearing once and then you won't ever wear it again. So I can't rave enough about the importance of making a great list. So for me, there's not really any difference if I buy something new or if I buy something secondhand. Just because I buy it secondhand doesn't mean that I just buy all sorts of things. It's still important to me that it's something that I feel like I need, so that I know what purpose and what need this will kind of fulfill when I bring it into my wardrobe. Making a list before you approach a thrift store is also a great way of making it feel a lot less overwhelming, because I know that many people who haven't really gotten started with the whole secondhand shopping thing are often very overwhelmed with many different things that you can find in secondhand stores. So if you have a list you can stick to, it makes it a lot less overwhelming and a lot more fun. And you know what? I pretty much always find what I'm looking for. So take me as a great example of really nailing that secondhand shopping. So my final tip today is to choose timeless items over passing trends. No matter if you like the timeless style overall and all throughout the year, or if you're someone who likes these very frequent replacements and you like to be a lot more playful with your style, most of us really need a great core and a great sort of wardrobe backbone to support us through all of that. So that's why I rely so much on my own all-year basic wardrobe, and it might be smaller for you, it might be bigger for other people. It kind of depends again on what kind of style you have, but we all need to get our basics sorted before we start doing anything else, really. So the beauty of a great basic wardrobe, at least for me, is that, you know, I have 80% of my wardrobe that always stays the same, and then I have 20% of my wardrobe, my everyday wardrobe, that kind of allows me to be a bit more playful, and I can easily like replace these last 20% with secondhand finds or other finds that will kind of keep my overall wardrobe fresh and appropriate for the particular season. So that's kind of the way that I evolve around the whole capsule wardrobe system. So especially when you're looking for items for your basic wardrobe, it's so important that you value items that are timeless over something that's very trendy and something that, you know, has details that you just know you won't love as much a year from now. So a great example could be if you're looking for a pair of sneakers. I like to keep my sneakers very clean and very simple because they're part of my all-year basic wardrobe, and it's something that I would like to invest in and then be able to love for many years to come with the right amount of care and cleanliness and all that. And I know that right now you can get lots of basic shoes that have details like frills or funny laces or glitter, different kinds of colors. And style is individual. You might like the more quirky basics than I do, but it's really important that you always ask yourself this question: how long can I love this item for? So if it's something that's very trendy, it's kind of designed to die out at some point and for you to get tired of at some point. So it's really important that you always ask yourself that question: how long can I love this item for? And again, trends can surely be enjoyed, even if you want to be a more sustainable fashion consumer. My answer is just going for secondhand, because that is a great way to keep items in the loop. And as we all know, trends, they do come round again and again. So yeah, secondhand is always a great option if you like these frequent replacements. Finally, I just like to say that I don't really think there's any way around it. Sustainable fashion will never be as cheap as fast fashion. So if you like new, fresh from the box kind of items rather than going for secondhand options, there's not really much you can do here. It's about making up your own mind about, you know, living a life that's more sustainable and that kind of aligns with your own ethical values, and also about really challenging your shopping habits for good. So I really hope that this video gave you something to think about. I hope it was helpful to you guys. Thank you so much to Cheftagger for collaborating with me in this video, and again for making our lives just a little bit easier. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for even more similar slow fashion related videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I'll see you over on Instagram as well, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye guys.